guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Detroit Tigers. It is Friday, September 1st. I simmed ahead a month like I normally do. Once we get through the July episode, simmed through the month of August. We are going to do September and presumably the postseason in this episode. It was another good month for the Tigers offline as we went 18-9. So 3 straight months, 17-9, 19-8, 18-9, 3 straight months of playing over 650 baseball has put us in a pretty comfortable position going into the last month of the season. We're 7 games up on Minnesota. Both offensively and defensively, we are right where we were last year, having the best offense in the American League and one of the best pitching staffs in the American League as well. Defensively, our efficiency is middle of the pack, but our zone rating is top. So we're a good defensive team too. Some of our trade deadline acquisitions: Dominic Smith, through his 1 month with Detroit, only hitting .226. But has knocked in 21 runs in 34 games for us. John Todd is hitting .300. Not a lot of power, not getting on base a ton. It's a pretty empty batting average, but still batting .300, and I believe playing a very good second base for us. Pete Fairbanks has come in and been terrific. 3-0. 23 strikeouts, 4 walks in 17 and 2/3 innings. So those were our 3 trade deadline acquisitions, and they're all doing pretty well. We had a pretty precipitous drop in talent for one of our key players at the most recent scouting updates. Jackson Jobe is down to 2 stars. His ratings kind of fell off a cliff, which is a little concerning. You can see here is overall and his potential both just plummeted this 1 month, along with his potential stuff. His movement and control have sort of stagnated, but his stuff has really dropped here. So that's a bit of a concern, but that's not something we'll worry about right now. So the goal is just to get through the month. We'll run through the end of the year team stats. We'll look at the league leaders, etc., and then we will move on to the postseason. And if I sound tired, I am. Got woken up by a fence repairman today. Supposed to be my day off. I literally took a day off from work and got woken up early by a fence repairman. So that's my world. Anyway. Do we want to look at anything else? I don't think so. And you can see, we're still, financially, we still don't have enough money to bring back Marcelo Meyer, so that's probably going to be something we're going to have to deal with when the season is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hopeful that maybe we get a bump to our payroll at the end of the season, and we'll just be able to re-sign him. If not, we're going to have to figure out who to move, and there are some options. But one of the issues is that we lost that year of arbitration. So all of our players are getting more expensive a year earlier than they normally would, which kind of throws everything off. But so we got to sim through a month here. We did call up Cam Collier. He's day-to-day for another 2 days. We called up Cam Collier, so he is going to get some playing time at first and third. As well as designated hitter. Who else did we call? We called up Braylon Bishop, just to have that additional outfielder to be out there defensively in case we need somebody. So that's who we called up at roster expansion. And I think it's time to just go ahead and sim ahead. So I'm going to sim ahead offline. And it's just a brief intro. I'll sim ahead until we get up to kind of that last week of the month, and then I'll bring it back, and we'll go from there. All right, so hang tight, guys. Thanks. All right, I decided to come back a little bit early because the wheels have fallen off of this train, and we're still in first place. We still have a comfortable lead, and that's only because Minnesota has played poorly. I want to show you guys how things have gone so far here in the month of September, and it's pretty freaking ugly. So, we started the month off with 6 consecutive victories, a 3-game sweep over Cincinnati, a 2-game sweep over Minnesota, and then we took on the Red Sox, won the first game against the Red Sox, and we have proceeded to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of our next 14 games. So we are 1-13 in our last 14 games. In addition to that, we lost Andy Taylor for a couple weeks. He's back in a week, and we lost John Todd for the rest of the season. So this has been, we're 7-13 this month, 1-9 in our last 10. It has been an absolute train wreck of a month. Again, I think we're still okay in terms of a playoff position, but this has been a disaster of a month. So let's go ahead and get through these last 12 games, hopefully without any major, we lose again. 14 out of 50, and then we finally win. Kai Caranto is hurt now, bruised thigh. Holy hell, like this was just this came out of nowhere. I mean, just out of nowhere. This team just sort of fell apart. So let's just keep simming. We have a 6-game lead. We win our 2nd game in a row, and now Meyer gets hurt. So we win 3 games in a row, but after every game, someone is getting nicked up, which, sure, it's the last month of the year. Why wouldn't that happen, right? All right, 7-game lead. So we've clinched a playoff spot, which is good. Can we finish up strong, even though, we could still end up over 500, I guess, if we win the rest of our games. But, we have a 97-57 Red Sox team, a 98-56 Atlanta Braves team. I was confident going into October. I'm not confident now. We win again, which is good. So seem to have righted the ship here just a tad as we win our last 4 games of the month. So we won our first 6 games. We won our last 4 games, but that in-between stretch we won once. Oof, that was not pretty. Player development, Strotman. Hayden Jones is back. He got a little better, a little worse. Jackson Jobe, same deal, a little better, a little worse. Ryan Spike. So I wanted to call up when we lost Todd, but I couldn't because he's hurt. So he's on the DL right now, the minor league DL. Chris Sylvie looks like he got better. AL Batter of the Month, Anthony Rendon of the Yankees now. NL, Drew Jones of the Giants. Wow, he looks good. Logan Henderson of Toronto, the Pitcher of the Month. NL Pitcher of the Month, Reynaldo Lopez of the Cubs. Kylan Bamberger is the Pitcher of the Month in the AL. And Jerry Corp in the National League. So let's sim through the rest of the season. We'll take a look at the stats, and then we'll get on to the postseason, and hopefully no more injuries as we finish off our series here against Tampa Bay. And we lose, so 94-62. Looks like we're going to come up shy of 100 wins unless we sweep the Indians and the Royals, which I don't think is going to happen based on how we've been playing, but let's just see. 95-62, Andy Taylor's eligible to come off the DL, so that's nice. Let's make him our closer again. We've had Pete Fairbanks closing for us in the meantime. Let's get him back into a middle relief role. 95-63, Julio Rodriguez suspended for 3 games, so we lose him for the rest of the year. Where are we going to end up? So we're going to come up shy of 100 wins, which, not the end of the world, but, where we were come the beginning of September, that's disappointing. 96-63, a 2-0. Who pitched in this one? Strotman, 8 shutout innings. Very nice to see there. And then we finish up with 3 games against the 3rd place Royals. We lose 2-1. A lot of players retiring, and that's fine. Trevor Story hits his 300th home run. We lose again. And are we going to go into the postseason on a 3-game losing streak? No, we win 2-1 on the final game of the season. So we finished here, Manny Machado, 2,500 hits. We finished the season 97 and 65. If we look at our history, it's not bad. I mean, I'm certainly nothing to sneeze at. We finished first for our 6th consecutive season. Obviously down 9 games from last season, but our 4th best record overall. Maybe this year, because we didn't win 100 games, we will have a better shot. So let's quickly take a look at our team stats. We'll look at our prospects, and then we'll get on to some postseason baseball. So we'll start with pitching. Emerson Hancock, 11 and 10, another decent season for us. ERA was a bit high this year compared to last year, but still threw 190 innings. Over a 3-win player, 4.10 whip or FIP, 119 ERA plus. Walks were down, home runs were down. I don't really know why his numbers were down compared to last year. His walks were way down. His BABIP was up, which, has something to do with it. But, he had a pretty good season. I'll take it. We're paying him a lot of money, so he better step up. Jackson Jobe finished at 2.64. He was our team leader in wins with 15 wins. Still only a 2-star pitcher now, which is, again, a concern for next year. But first full season with us, 186 innings, 170 Ks. Everything was, he and Hancock had almost identical seasons, really. Their Ks, their walks, and their home runs were all within, a couple percentage points of each other. So good seasons there. Andy Taylor, very good in his first season as our closer, 29 saves, 1.74 ERA. Carpintero was very good. We picked him up at the beginning of the season. He was quite good for us. Didn't strike out a lot of batters, but only 2 home runs in 68 innings. I'll take it. Our relief corps really was fantastic this year. Taylor, Carpintero, Colina, Takelet, Sproat, and even Adam Hill, who we'll look at here in a second, and Jake Eater. They were all very, very good. Colina, in what likely is to be his only year with us, had a really nice season. Hayden Jones is a rookie, 10 and 5 with a 4.01 ERA. Walked too many batters, 3.4 per 9, I think is a bit high, especially given he's got a 66 control. So hopefully that will he'll be able to kind of get that under control next year. Home runs were fine, 1.1 per 9. Home run per 9 innings isn't the worst in the world. Takelet was good in his first full season, really his first season with us. His ERA was a bit high, but his FIP was really good. He allowed less than a hit an inning. His walks were a bit high, but that's expected with, his control has gone up from a 19 or something. So once he gets it up to this number here, he's going to be just absolutely dominant. Strotman was a nice midseason pickup for us, 9 and 8 with a 4.29 ERA. His ERA was up from his time with Tampa, but overall kind of solidified that position, that spot in the middle of the rotation. Sproat, 6-0 with a 2.69, struck out a bunch of batters, was generally pretty good. Adam Hill actually was decent as a starter and not very good as a reliever, if I remember correctly. Does it list it here? Yeah. Well, I guess he was okay. He wasn't great as a starter, but as always, there's value in this swing roll. So you look at Adam Hill, he made 8 starts in 2026, 3 in 2027, and then 5 this year. So he's a valuable player to have in that role who can do both for you. So Jake Eater had a good season. Traven Balog, we called him up after we traded Grayson Rodriguez, and he was okay. 4.29 ERA. Gave up too many home runs. Well, I guess, again, the home runs aren't terrible. 1 home run per 9 isn't the worst in the world. Walks were a bit high. Gave up a few too many hits. But, again, just a rookie. Expect him to be better next season. Galindo was meh. And Fairbanks overall was pretty bad. But with us, struck out a batter every inning. He was fine with us. He was just negative 1.4 WAR with the Mets. So he just was really bad with the Mets, which skews those numbers quite a bit. Excuse me. Batting, I was just making sure I was recording there. So Yu Yi Liu just continues to be an absolute monster. We're going to have a decision to make in the offseason, and he gets really expensive. He's making $20 million this year, and then he's got next year at 23.3, and then the following season at 27. My hope is that we have a bump to our payroll, which will allow us to re-sign Marcelo Meyer. But if not, moving Lou and sliding Collier into that role may be something we have to consider. It's not something I want to do. I obviously would rather hold on to him, but we may not have that luxury. If it's not Lou, it might be Emerson Hancock, but I don't know that we have the pitching to back that up. So that's for after the postseason. Elijah Green with a very, very nice sophomore campaign. Home runs were a bit down, but set career highs in runs, hits, doubles, triples, RBIs, runs, stolen bases, batting. I mean, everything was up. So good for a 5-win player overall, and was just amazing in the outfield again. So he may not be Gomez, but I am happy with Elijah Green as our starting center fielder. Julio Rodriguez was worth every single damn penny we paid him. 4.5 WAR, 42 home runs, 123 runs knocked in, and he's only making $12 million this year. It goes up to 14 next season, but even at 16, which we're paying him in that last season, that is well worth it. Dominic Smith wasn't very good with us. Provided some pop, 8 home runs, 32 runs knocked in, but that average was a little light for my liking. Helio Ramos was, again, everything we wanted him to be. Hit 20 home runs, 25 doubles, good for 3.5 WAR. Of course, most of that's coming from his defense. I mean, 14.6 zone rating out in left field. Our outfield defense is the best in the major league. So Helio Ramos. But Ramos is another one. You know, if we're close to that number with Meyer, we might move on from Ramos. I would like to keep them both and just use the money we have at our disposal. But again, you know, it's a problem for after the postseason. Alex Green had a nice rookie year. Continues to develop. That contact is increasing. 264, 366, 3.3 WAR, 26 home runs. And we'll look at defense for everybody here in a minute, but he played an above-average first base, too. So that trade worked out for us. Marcelo Meyer, and he's sort of the key to everything here in our offseason. 25-year-old shortstops who hit 20 home runs and can play above-average defense, don't grow on trees. I don't know that he's ever going to relive the 2026 numbers, but we don't have a replacement, frankly. So we can't really lose him. So we'll have to see what happens. Corey Collins with another fantastic year behind the dish. 3.2 WAR, 22 home runs, set a career high in home runs. His ARB number jumps up to like 8.5. Antonio Gomez, really good as our backup. His ARB number jumps up to like 4.5. So we are going to have, again, lots of decisions to make in the offseason. Giancarlo Stanton had a good year for us, doing what we needed him to do. 11 home runs, 24 knocked in. He hit 275, 400, 594 against lefties. If we could have limited him and not played him against righties, his numbers would have looked a whole lot better. But almost 1,000 OPS against lefties. Kai Caranto, really bad with the bat, really good with the glove. You know, that's what we're getting out of him, and that's fine. That's his role. Cam Collier got into 22 games, was 10 of 54, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. Good for $185. But, he's our third baseman of the future. So we're going to have to figure something out there. And then Mario Mendoza's Rule 5 season with us was just a lost season. Almost -2 wins over replacement. So those are our team stats. Ryan Spikes, our top prospect, mashed the ball in AAA after we picked him up, so he'll be up with the big club next season. His home run power is up to an 82 now, so elite power there. Zarate in his 1 month in AAA, 1-1 with a 4.41 ERA. walked more than he struck out. That's obviously not good. I need to see this changeup develop. I mean, fastball, curveball, I mean, he might be able to survive as a two-pitch starter. I don't. They usually don't, though. So hopefully that pitch can develop here in the offseason, and he can have a third pitch that is at least reasonable. So we have to set our playoff roster. So the Red Sox went 98-64. Let's look at the standings real quick. Red Sox went 98-64. Yankees get the wild card, 95-67. We win the Central. And then the Astros win the West with an 81-81 mark. Twins make the wild card at 91-71. Over in the National League, the Braves with a 103-win season. The Marlins finish 12 games out, but make the wild card. The Cubs go 93-69. And then out west, the Dodgers win again. And the Diamondbacks pick up the wild card out there. Look at the Rockies finishing the season on a 13-game winning streak. Way to go, Colorado. Julio Rodriguez led the American League in home runs and RBIs, so I would say that was a good pickup. Old friend Jung-Hoo Lee led the American League in batting, with the Red Sox hitting .350 this year. Lou led the league in OPS, led the league in WAR. We didn't have anybody on the pitching front, and that's going to be our, the one thing we're lacking is that ace. That's the one thing. We have a good pitching staff up and down the board, but we're lacking that ace starter, and that could come back to bite us in the ass. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Playoff roster, players eligible. So why does it not have Alex Green on there? Don't be dumb. So we are going to take Braylon Bishop off. We're going to put Alex Green back on there. Anybody else that should be on there that isn't? All three players that we picked up in the Grayson Rodriguez trade are currently injured. Spikes, Todd, and Davis. Of course they are. All right. So we have to set our lineup because it took Alex Green out for some reason. We're not going to start. I mean, this is going to be our starting lineup in the postseason. It's just the way it is. And then against lefties. Nope. It's going to be like that. And then here we got to get Alex Green back out there and Kai Caranto, who's not going to be batting leadoff. Who's batting leadoff against righties? Meyer. Okay. So that's how I chose to do it, huh? Okay. Move everybody down. Make sure these are set properly. I do not want to start. Nor do I want to start Smith. He wasn't very good, but I think get that bat in the lineup in the National League parks, I think will be beneficial to us. And then against righties, we will go with Green and Caranto, and we will, who do we have batting second? So we're going Green, Rodriguez. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure what I was thinking there, but it's fine. All right. Make sure that's all set. That's all set. Starter tired. And yeah, it's time for some playoff baseball. Let's see if we can finally break through. We've had six years of just elite regular season play. We've been able to maintain it, but that prospect well is going to start to dry up at some point here as we pick in the bottom half of all these drafts. So hopefully this is the year. I mean, I feel like we're spread out nicely offensively. We have a fantastic offense. We're going to be taking on, of course, we're going to be taking on Houston. Of course, we're going to be taking on Houston because that's what happens. The Yankees beat the oh, that's right, because they're the division winners. That's right. Okay. So the Yankees, Red Sox in the ALDS, Tigers and Astros, the Marlins, the Braves, the Cubs, and the Dodgers. Let's look at Houston. And I'm going to save this real quick before it crashes. They aren't very good. They have a bad offense and they have bad pitching staff. They got a good bullpen and they run the bases, and that's about it. And they've got two former faces, I guess, of the Detroit Tigers. They've got Spencer Torkelson, who in his first year with Houston hit .208 with 39 home runs and 103 knocked in. He's signed to a $22 million contract, 7 years, $179 million for Torque. So good for him getting paid. And Ken Giles, old friend Ken Giles, with really a down season. Struck out less than a batter an inning, which is just shocking considering how dominant he was for us for 3 seasons. So, yeah, all right. So there you got Ken Jackson as their ace. Looks to be average, but still as good as any starter we have. Carlos Rodriguez, good ratings, but hasn't translated to the numbers yet. So I got a couple of good pitchers. They don't have an ace, just like we don't have an ace. So it'll be, Al Morales looks to be pretty solid. He's going to be making his starting debut in the postseason. He's been a reliever for 2 straight seasons. Bregman is 34 years old now. He's got 28 home runs. They have Freddie Freeman, 39-year-old Freddie Freeman in his first year with Houston. All right. So it's time for the playoffs, guys. And let's make sure our pitching staff is set correctly. We want to go with a 4-man rotation. So I think we bench Balog and we go Hayden Jones. And normally what I do is I go in and in fact, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to continue to do it because our bullpen is really good. So I feel like that's something we need to take advantage of, I guess. We're going to make Carpintero a stopper. I like the control and the fact that he's a ground ball pitcher. So Taylor, Carpintero, Eater, Takelet, use more often. Actually, do I want to use him more often? Yeah, I think I do. All right. So we're going to go Hancock, Job, Strotman, and Hayden Jones. And we're playing an 81-win team. So and we were 7-0 against them this year. So obviously that means we're going to lose to them in 4 games. Let's just see how it goes. So game 1, Ken Hancock against Emerson Hancock. Ken Jackson against Emerson Hancock in Detroit. Game 1 goes to Detroit. We win 8-0. That's what I like to see. Green, 4 for 5, 3 RBIs. Lou homered, Collins homered, Green homered. Hancock goes 6 1/3, shutout, 2 hits, 2 walks, 8 Ks. Hill, Galindo, and Taylor lock it down. So good start there. Both in the game for Hancock and in the series. Game 2, Carlos Rodriguez against Jackson Job. And we are up 2-0 as we win this one 9-3. Elijah Green with his first home run. Rodriguez with his first home run. Collins hits his second. We get 5 1/3 of 1-run baseball out of Job. Hill and Takelet finish it off. So good start to the series. I don't want to count my chickens, but we have a 2-0 lead. We're outscoring them 17-3 through 2 games. Game 3 is going to be Strotman against Paddock as we look to complete the sweep here of the Houston Astros. And we do. So we win 3-0. So we outscored them 20-3 in those 3 games. The youngster, Elijah Green, wins the ALDS MVP, going 6 for 12 with a homer and 2 runs knocked in. Meyer, 2 for 5. Collins, 2 for 4. Caranto, 2 for 4. Strotman goes 7 2/3 innings. Carpintero comes in, picks up the save. So that was about as good as you could have expected. A 3-game sweep where we outscore them 20-3. And now we wait on the Yankees and Red Sox to beat each other up. West Michigan players are retiring. That's fine. Let's go over here. So the Red Sox have a 2-1 series lead over the Yankees. Old friend Will Sanders. Oh, a couple of Tigers going after each other here. Will Sanders and Joey Wentz in Game 4. And that goes to the Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox defeat the New York Yankees in 4 games and will take on the Tigers in the ALCS. And we'll take a look at the Red Sox here once we get to the start of the next series. We still got a couple days. So it's good that we can go back up to the... And they have the best pitcher. Carson Hamro is the best pitcher in this series. And again, this is where we run into problems. You know, we don't have an ace like some of these other teams. And that's a problem. But, you know, we'll figure it out. Maybe. So they have the best offense in the American League. Their pitching staff is middle of the road, but they do have Carson Hamro, 26-year-old, went 18-5 this year, 227 strikeouts and 178 innings, led the American League in wins. They got Quinn Priester, Jamie Barria, and Joey Wentz. So they got a decent pitching staff. They're without Hunter Barco, Jose Barrios, and Sam Weatherly, 3 of their pitchers, and Xander Bogaerts is out for a few weeks. Xander is now 36 years old. He spent that 1.5 season with us back in 2023 and went right back to Boston, where he's put up almost 300 home runs and over 2,000 hits. Spread out offense. I mean, they got a lot of players with at least 10 home runs. Nobody other than Lee... Nick Senzel has got a pretty good bat this year. His ratings aren't wonderful, but he's got a pretty good bat. Kevin Biggio, just going to get on base a bunch, going to strike out a ton. Tristan Cassius, good power bat. Still got Devers out there at 31 getting it done. Marcelo Zuna, Jung-Hoo Lee led the league in hitting. Christian Santana. So they got a pretty good lineup. It says it's the best in the American League, but it looks okay. It doesn't look, lights out. But that's who we go up against. So Emerson Hancock has his hands full here. Can our de facto ace get it done? We were 4-2 against the Red Sox this year. Let's see what happens in Game 1. Tigers win 4-1. Emerson Hancock out-dueling Carson Hamro, giving us 6 2/3 innings of 1-run baseball. Carpintero goes the final 2 1/3 innings, striking out 4 to pick up the save. Hamro gives up 2 and 5. We get home runs from Green and Smith. Caranto continues to hit 2 for 3. He's hitting .467 this postseason. All right, game number 2. Jackson Jobe against Quinn Priester. And it's a 2-0 win as we win 9-6. We were up 6-0 after 2. They got 4 back in the third. Then we scored 5 in the fifth to make it 9-4. And we held on for a 9-6 victory. Collins with another home run, his third. 2-run home run, 2 RBIs for Helio Ramos. Elijah Green's hitting .450 this postseason. Jobe picks up the win. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Galindo, Kalina, and Taylor. Taylor should have pitched more than that. I'm going to have to work on that because he hasn't pitched much here in the postseason. We get to Priester, knock him out after 2 games. Let's look at our pitching staff real quick. So I want him in 8th or later. I want to lean on Taylor and Carpintero here. So we're up 2-0 here in the best of 7. Game 3, and those are 2 games in Fenway Park. So now we go home to try to take a 3-0 series lead. Jaime Barria against Drew Strotman is a 5-0 win for the Red Sox. Tristan Cassius with a 3-run homer. Strotman gets hurt. Of course he does. Strained hamstring. And our bullpen just blew it up. So Strotman had been perfect through 5, or almost perfect. 1 walk through 2 1/3 innings. Carpintero got hit hard. Takelet got hit hard. Not that it matters because we didn't score any runs. But all right, so we are up 2-1, looking to win Game 4 and take a 3-1 series lead. Nope, series is tied at 2. We lose 3-2. They score a run in the 9th off of Taylor, of course. Cam Collier gets a pinch hit home run in this one. Ozuna homers in the 9th off of Taylor, and our home field advantage is now gone. We had a 2-0 lead and then lost 2 straight games. So we're going to need Hancock to step up here in Game 5. He does, again. So Emerson Hancock getting the job done this postseason. Lou with 2 hits. Home run for Rodriguez. Did Hancock get hurt too? Are you friggin' kidding me? So this was a bullpen game. So 2 of my starters have gotten hurt here in back-to-back games. All right. Well, let's see how long he's out for. Let's see. All right. So do we know yet? Day-to-day for 3 days. Hamstring soreness. So our ace starter comes out in the first inning with hamstring soreness. As we look to move to the World Series here, all it's going to take is a Jackson Jobe victory over Quinn Priester. Series is tied at 3. We're going to go to 7 games. Hell. All right, we are down. We lose 4. We have 1 hit in Game 6. Jobe doesn't pitch badly. Carpintero gets hit hard. All right, so we need to come back in here. Let's just move him back into a setup role. How are our pitchers doing here in the postseason? It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go here and here. Eater has been good. I guess it's Eater. Stopper, 8th in close game. Oh, hell. Okay, so Strotman it just influences his running. So I think we're going to go with Strotman here in Game 7. We're going to lose. Come on. And I'm saving it just for the suspense, by the way. Everything we can do to delay this another second. So Drew Strotman against Jaime Barria is tomorrow. Here we go, guys. Do we win Game 7 and advance to the World Series, or does another season end in disappointment? 3, 2, 1. And we make the World Series as we win 10-7 in Game 7. And Elijah Green wins another MVP as he is the ALCS MVP as well as the DL or ALDS. So this was an ugly game. We gave up 2 in the first. We scored 4 in the second. They tied it at 4. We took a 7-4 lead. They would tie it after 5. And then we scored 3 in the 8th at Fenway Park and closed it down. So Rodriguez 3 for 5, 4 runs knocked in. Elijah Green, 2 home runs in this one, hitting .350 in the postseason. Neither starting pitcher made it out of the second inning. Takelet gave up a run. Sproat gave up 2. Colina pitched well. And Eater came in and did exactly what we needed him to. Came in that stopper role, pitched 2 shutout innings, striking out 2. We got to their closer, Braden Forsythe. And we're going to the World Series. We are going to the World Series, folks. Who will we be facing in the World Series? The Chicago Cubs in the World Series. So let's take a look at the 93-69 Chicago Cubs. They finished with the best offense in the National League and a middle-of-the-pack pitching staff. Their offense is pretty crazy good. Adalberto Mondesi at the top of the order, batting .317. Munitaka Murakami, who was that first baseman we didn't sign last year, he looks to have regressed substantially after his first season in the major leagues. They have Juan Soto, who is Juan Soto. He's 30 years old, but he is still Juan Soto, just turned 30 years old. 334 home runs, 1,500 hits. Already a 62-win player. James Wood, a 26-year-old center fielder. Very nice player there. He looks like he's there. Elijah Green. They have Tim Groh, who's a 24-year-old right fielder. Looks to be pretty good. Brian Hayes, at 31 years old, playing third base for them this year. Again, a couple of old Tigers on their team. They've got Jesus Luzardo, who pitched for us back in 2025, is their ace. Had a pretty good year for him, 12-7 with a 3.58. And Tanner Scott, who pitched for us in 2027, had saved 32 games this year between Milwaukee and Chicago. So we got a better pitching staff. They have a better offense. And it's World Series time. World Series time. I've actually got some nerves here. We got swept by the Cubs this year, by the way. As you can see there, they are 3-0 against us. And I want to make sure that my lineups against the National Leagues, or without the DH, I guess, is set properly. So let's look at that really quick. Meyer, Smith, Lou, Rodriguez, Green, Collins, Ramos, Caranto. And then against lefties. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so here we go. Game 1 of the World Series in Detroit. Jesus Luzardo against Emerson Hancock goes to the Detroit Tigers. We hammer the Cubs 13-3 in Game 1. Giancarlo Stanton gets the start out in right field, goes 4 for 4 with 6 runs batted in. Giancarlo Stanton, 2 home runs, 6 runs knocked in. That right there made the signing worth it. Huge game from Giancarlo Stanton. Emerson Hancock improves to 3-0 in the postseason. 5 1/3, 2 runs. And we knock Luzardo around, get him out of the game after 1 2/3 innings. Let's move on to game number 2. Victor Lizarraga against Charles Hayden Jones. Is that who we actually want starting? Nope, we want Jackson Jobe starting. And the series is tied at 1 as we lose 7-1. So that was a mistake, and that's fine. But he was our number 2 starter most of the season, so we got to go with him. Doesn't make it out of the second. Eder, Galindo, Fairbanks, and Hill pitched. Ramos homers, Acosta homers for them. Series is tied at 1. All right, so game number 3. It's going to be in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Charles Hayden Jones against Cal Quantrill. Goes to the Detroit Tigers. We win 7-2. We get home runs from Collins, Rodriguez, and Smith. Julio Rodriguez drives in 3. Collins drives in a pair. Jones goes 5. Colina and Galindo give us 4 shutout innings of relief. Game number 4. It's going to be Drew Strotman against Daniel Lynch in Chicago. Can we take a 3-1 series lead? We can't. The Cubs tied at 2. They beat us 8-6. We were up 6-2 after 5. Is it our bullpen? Yeah, Strotman got hurt again. Ugh. So he's got both a strained hamstring and a pending injury. Okay. Eder got blown up this time. Green homers twice. Meyer homers. All right. Well, the series is tied at 2. Game 5, and again, we have Game 7 at home in this one, so that's a positive, I guess. Emerson Hancock against Jesus Luzardo in a rematch of Game 1 goes to the Chicago Cubs. They beat us 6-3. They get 3 in the first. Hancock gets knocked around a bit. 5 hits, 5 runs, and 4. Green homers again. They get home runs from Groh and Hayes. So we have to win the final 2 games of our season in order to win the World Series. So we got Jackson Jobe going in Game 6. And then we're going to have to figure out Game 7. Assuming we win. So let's just do it. Let's just sim. And we lose. Bah! All right. Well, we made it a step further, guys. We made it to the postseason, or we made it to the World Series. We just couldn't get the job done. And again, it was our pitching staff. Our pitching staff let us down here. We had a 2-1 lead, and then we gave up 8 runs, 6 runs, and 6 runs. I don't know what we're going to do this offseason, but it's something we will take a look at. All right, so we made the World Series. So that's good. You know, I want to look at this positively. We made the World Series. We didn't win it, but we made the World Series. And every year, I think, was it last year we made it to the ALCS? The year before that, we lost in the DS. So one step at a time. One step at a time. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. So let's get into the offseason, shall we? And obviously the big question is, do we have the ability to re-sign our starting shortstop, Marcelo Meyer? Got some interesting players on the waiver wire. Let's look at that really quickly, see if there's anybody we want to claim. Let's look at the pitching potential for these guys. Did my scout retire? Is that what's going on here? Are you kidding? Hell. Okay. Fan loyalty increased. That's good. The budget went up, but I don't know if that means we're going to have more money. Yep, our scout retired. Shoot. Okay. Alan Bezunitz. Looks good to me. Outstanding at the majors, outstanding in international, outstanding in AM. Yep. Okay. That's fine. All right. Let's look at the waiver wire again. Because, there look to be a couple of decent players here. I would take a shot on Reed Detmers, a lefty ground baller. Oh, he's getting paid $16 million. Never mind. Camden Hayslip. No. All right, that's fine. So we got to look at our mail. And we don't have any decisions to make in terms of team options or anything like that. We do have a new budget. Our fan loyalty increases, which is good, which means we should be able to bump our ticket prices a little bit. Top prospects. We don't have anybody in the top 10. Where does our minor league system rank? 4th. Spikes, Zarate, Collier, Castro, and Bailey. I can't really look at anybody's ratings until we sign a scout because they're just going to be OSA's ratings. Where do we stand here, front office? So we have $19 million for free agents. That might be enough to re-sign Meyer. What does Colina want? He wants 10. Okay, Meyer. I don't want to give him that opt-out after the first year, but if we could give him 19 and then 20, would he take that? What? Oh, because it's an extension. Damn it. All right. Okay, so we're going to have to mess around here a bit because we have $19 million for free agents and $11 million for extensions. So I think we can bump ticket prices up. Let's bump it up here. Yeah, we only have 11 for extensions. So we're literally going to have to wait for Meyer to go to free agency, and then we're going to have to compete with other teams. And it's just unfortunate, but it's the way it is. Elijah Green. Can we lock him in long term? 5, 8, 10, 12. I mean, he probably won't take this. Yeah, he doesn't. Okay, he only wants 1 year, so I guess we're going to go year to year with him. He wants 5. So we'll offer offer him 5.2. Kai Caranto, oops, at 8.25 is going to be a bargain for what he brings to the team. And I'll see how much money I can save here, and then maybe we can get Meyer to take a below-average deal in the first year. I'm going to hold off on my catching situation because this is going to require some thought. Andy Taylor wants 4.8. Only take 4.5. He'll take 4.6 though. And that'll probably be my last year with Andy Taylor because my guess is his ARB number will shoot up next year. Sproat wants 1. And maybe, we can move on from Taylor if Takelet continues to improve. Taylor, Hill we want to bring back. He continues to be invaluable to us in the role that we have him in. And again, part of the reason I do this, and I say this every year, part of the reason I do this is to get the fan interest bumps on players that the fans like, because technically they are signing a contract. So Jake Eater wants 2.4. And Carpintero wants 3.2. I'm okay with that. 3.050. No. What about that? There we go. All right. And then last is Jackson Jobe. His ratings dropped, but at 1.1, that's fine. He can be a number 5 starter at 1.1. All right, so now what do we do with our catchers? What do we do with our catchers, and what do we do with Yu Yi Lu? What do we have right now? Yeah, so he would have to take like a $12 million, $12.8 million contract in year one, which I don't think he's going to. So we're going to have to hold on. We're just going to have to hold on there. Do we have... I don't think we have anybody in our minor leagues who's ready to come up. I guess we could just stick Cal Raleigh on the 40-man and make him our backup. That's a cheap option. We don't have any prospects ready, any AAA prospects that are ready. We're going to get Desmond on the 40-man. Just do that now so I don't forget. Yeah, we don't, Jerry Howard's not a bad option, or won't be a bad option down the road, but he's not ready. So Coliano's not ready, so I don't really have anybody ready to go. Gomez is better defensively. Put up a pretty good year for us. Collins, 3.2 wins out of your catcher, though. He's another, not that we need another power bat. I'm just curious. The issue is that I don't think we're going to get anything of real value because he's just 3 stars. Yeah, I have no interest in any of these players, really. I guess the first thing we should do is wait for our scout to sign so we can get accurate readings on some of these players. And then we can kind of go from there. So, all right. I am going to sim ahead to free agency. If I make any moves between now and then, I will let you know. So I'll be right back. Okay. So we are back. No comeback likely for Austin Meadows. His career is over from a broken elbow. Okay. So it went pretty much as anticipated. I made a really difficult decision. I offered Antonio Gomez a contract 3.2, and he took it. And I made the decision to non-tender Corey Collins. My thought is that he won't get $8 million in free agency, so I can probably bring him back for less than that. And if I can't, I'll find a backup catcher someplace else because offense isn't our problem. So Collins, while good defensively, Gomez is better defensively. So we can slide him in at catcher and be fine. As expected, Marcelo Meyer filed for free agency. So we are going to have to figure something out there, and we might actually be able to now, because we're down to 20. Maximum allowable contract is 21. So if I offer him 20, I get rid of the opt out after 1 year because I don't want to do this again next season. So if it's 5 years at 90 something million, will he take that? Yeah, he wants that opt out. Damn. All right. Well, hopefully that'll change. I don't want to give him an opt out after 1 year and then just have to go through this mess again next year. I want to get him locked down. So, all right. AL defenders, AL Gold Gloves, Giolito, Amaya, Olsen, Horvath, Chapman, Tamar Johnson, Helio Ramos, Elijah Green win it in left and center, and Vecrumba wins it in right field for the Astros. So we get 2 Gold Gloves. NL, Mackenzie Gore, Drew Romo, Bohm, Guillorme, Cabrian Hayes, Lawler, Blade, Drew Jones, Bryce Harper. AL Reliever of the Year, again, Tony Stewart for a 3rd consecutive season. In the NL, Alex Arroyo of the Cardinals. Gold or Platinum Stick, Silver Slugger, whatever you want to call it. Ryan Jeffers, Vlad, Nesty Barrera, who was the international guy who showed up this year and was just a monster, 4.7 WAR. Lou at 3rd, Mooney at short, Julian Greenwell, Nick Senzel, Jose Lopez, and Julio Rodriguez. So we get 2 Silver Sluggers. In the National League, Baez, Romo, Benelis, Albies, Mauricio, Lindor, Soto, Drew Jones, Jesus Sanchez. AL Rookie of the Year, again, Nesty Barrera. Alvarado finished 2nd, Brogan Napier, and then Alex Green finished 4th. Ben Muse in the National League. AL Manager of the Year was me. I won the Manager of the Year in the National League. It is Don Kelly. Carson Hamro, wins the Cy Young in the American League. And I have a very interesting trade proposal that I am considering regarding Carson Hamro, and I think you guys can probably figure out where the other end of it is, but that's something I'm thinking about in the National League. Sixto Sanchez for the Marlins. AL MVP is our very own Yu Yi Lu as he sweeps the first place votes with his 35 home run, 101 RBI, 314 batting average on the year. He was a machine at 8.8 WAR. Ozzie Albies in the National League. So let's get to free agency and let's figure out what we're going to do here. All right. Anybody, any good international players coming in this year? I was going to say I wouldn't mind a catcher, but he's not really any good. Nope, nothing. All right, so free agents. Osiel Rodriguez is the top pitching free agent. He's fragile. I mean, he's really, really good. He doesn't want a ton of money. Victor Munoz, he's the other one. He wants more. This guy is an ace. I would love to be able to bring in Victor Munoz. That's probably going to be our top. Oh, we got Kumar Rocker. Wow, there is a lot of high-end talent in the free agent market this season. All right, so what do we have for money? We have $31 million this year, and we have nothing for next year, and that's because some of our players jump up in cost substantially. So what do we want to do here? Oh, Francisco Lindor is up here, and he's not there's no compensation, which I don't really care about. Here's Meyer. His numbers jumped up to 27. Wow. I feel like our first target has to be Munoz, and then we work from there. And if we can... No, I don't want to give him 9 years. I'll give him 5. So he wants 7. All right, what if we go with 6 and I do this? All right, so 6 years, $121 million for Victor Munoz. That takes him till he's 33. He has been very, very good in his 3. I mean, he would be our best pitcher, hands down. I still would like to free up some money to see if we can pick up or see if we can bring back Meyer. Carlos Duran, another 27-year-old. He looks pretty good. I don't mind giving up comp picks for some of these guys either. So he's wrecked. Kumar Rocker is a comp. Okay, so we made our first deal. We made our first offer. Hopefully he takes it. I mean, it seems like that's a great deal for this type of pitcher. And his stamina is a little light, but I'm okay with that. Is there anything else I want to do right this second? I wonder if... So is there anybody on our team from a financial standpoint that we would be fine moving on from? I mean, Hancock, I would be okay trading him. I mean, I think I can... Here's the thing. I think I can get better than Emerson Hancock at $15 million. Okay, so I think this is going to be an easy way to clear up some money. And I think we're going to pull the trigger here with Jackson Reese. Yeah, I think... Oh, shit. The problem is that if I don't sign Ramos, now we're down... Whatever. I need to think short-term and long-term at the same time. So if we replace Hancock with Munoz, we're immediately better at the top of our rotation while only spending a little bit more. So I'm going to pull the trigger. Fans don't like it. It's understandable, but I need the money. And frankly, no, he's never pitched in the majors. No, he hasn't pitched in the majors in... Okay. I mean, he was good in his time in the majors. I mean, his last season in the bigs, 2024, he put up a 1.27 ERA. All right, so that gives us some more money to play with. So now I think I'm going to pause. I'm going to sim ahead to the Rule 5, and we will see what we can come up with. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. And we are a very, very different ball club than we were a week ago. We'll start with the free agent signings. We were able to land Victor Munoz. We signed him to a 6-year contract worth $121 million. It's 18 in the first year, followed by 2 years at 20, 2 years at 21, and a player option in 2034 at $21 million. If he stays healthy, it should be a steal. We still have a contract offer out to Marcelo Meyer. That contract is actually, it's a bit longer than I would have liked, but the annual value is a little bit less. It's 7 years at $22 million a year for 7 straight years. With an opt-out, I think, after the 3rd season. So we may have to readdress it in 3 years, but, that's 3 years down the road. And then we made an absolutely monumental trade, and I went back and forth about this, and I don't know. But I based... All right, well, let's just look at the trade. We'll look at the trade first, and then... I'll kind of go over my thinking. So the Red Sox came calling, and we sent them Yu Yi Lu and Andy Taylor, eating 85% of his contract and $8 million in cash because I had this deal locked down in the arbitration time without Andy Taylor, and the Red Sox made some moves. Now they didn't have any money. So I would have been fine giving up Lou and the $8 million, but giving up Taylor and eating his contract hurts. So we give up the reigning American League Most Valuable Player and his 8.8 WAR to the Red Sox, and in exchange, we get the reigning American League Cy Young winner in Carson Hamro. Lou, we talked about the reason I made the deal. 23.3 this year, 27.7 next year. Moving this contract brings me in Hamro and allows me to bring back Marcelo Meyer. If we kept Lou, we don't get Meyer. That's just the way it is. So we bring back Marcelo Meyer, hopefully on that 7-year deal, and we now have a 1-2 combination at the top of our rotation of Munoz and Hamro. Obviously, this was not easy to give up. We talked about Taylor. I made it clear I probably wasn't going to re-sign him after this year anyway. He was a free agent. And we'll just move Takelet and Carpintero into those closer and setup positions. And in exchange, we get Carson Hamro. 18-5 last year, 227 strikeouts, 178 innings, good for 5.1 WAR, the reigning Most Valuable Player, and he is arbitration eligible here for at least another year or two. Yeah, 2 more years after this one. So, huge deal, huge trade. Not entirely sure how I feel about it, but I felt like it was a deal that I needed to make. I needed to get that money off the books, and I needed to bring in a player who, frankly, I could hang on to for a couple of years. So that means that this is now Cam Collier's job at third base. Yeah, so that was the deal. So let's get to the Rule 5, and I don't know how I feel about it. You let me know what you guys think about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it was a move, I needed to make, but obviously that one's going to hurt. You know, we have one of the best offenses in baseball, so I felt like we could make that move while improving our defense. At any rate, wow. Okay. He looks pretty damn good. I don't know how you... Another one here with a 100 batting eye. Josh Collins. I think we go after Josh Collins. Look at that bat. I mean, the bat is obviously ready, and he would be the backup catcher. We may make a couple of picks here. So we're going to take Josh Collins. We're going to take Chris Miller. And my God. Okay. I mean, we'll just keep taking players as long as they're going to keep falling to us, and then we'll just, it's not my turn. And then we'll just sort it out afterwards. Anybody else I want to take? No, I think that's good. I think 3's enough. And we will complete the current round. All right, or complete the current draft. All right, so our team's going to look very different. Very, very different this upcoming season. We have a lot of young players on our team now. Helio Ramos is our oldest position player at age 29. But you can see Caranto, 23, Todd, 24, Nelson Lopez, Eddie Davis, Josh Collins, Cam Collier, 25, Spikes, Green, Bishop, 25, Rodriguez and Green are 27. So I think that's it for moves. We don't really have much money left. Oh no, I take that back. Well, that extension number will drop once we sign. Um, once we sign Marcelo Meyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim ahead now to opening day, I guess. And any moves that were made, we'll cover at that point. So I'll be back in a second. All right, we are back a couple of days away from opening day. We did sign Marcelo Meyer to that long-term deal, so he is locked up as our starting shortstop for the next 7 years at $22 million a year. He's got a player opt-out after 3 seasons. So we're set there. We did make one trade. There may be some more on the horizon at some point, but we made one trade back in January where we traded a couple of some outfield depth. We traded Mario Mendoza, who was our Rule 5 guy last year, and Braylon Bishop to the Colorado Rockies, getting 25-year-old Victor Juarez in return. Victor, 3 straight seasons as a starter. We'll probably use him out of the bullpen. Ground ball pitcher, good control, good stuff, 3 good pitches, gives us some depth in the pen. And then we also signed Jose Alvarado to a 2-year contract worth $5 million. Extreme ground ball, great stuff, great movement, controls average, but sinker ball pitcher, keep the ball down, should be good for us. All right, so it is time for cut down. Oh, and the Baltimore Orioles moved to Columbus, by the way. They moved to Columbus and became the Columbus Pride. Yeah. All right, so it's time for cut down. We have 37 players on the roster. We got to get down to 26. We have 19 pitchers, so let's start sending some pitchers down. Well, he's not a pitcher. He can go down. Zarate's not quite ready. He's got to get some time in AAA. He's not going to be thrilled about it, but whatever. So we have 16. We got to send 3 more pitchers down. We will send down Aguilera and Smith. Smith needs to be waived. Fine. Waive and designate. And Jackson Rees, I think he probably is going to need to be, he's going to need to be designated too. So this is our pitching staff. Carson Hamro, Victor Munoz, Trayvon Balog, Hayden Jones, and Jackson Jobe. I think I'm going to go Munoz in my number 1, then Hamro, then Balog, then Hayden Jones, then Jackson Jobe. Our closer will be Carpintero. Takelet, I think we'll leave him in a setup role for now, and then I want Eater to be my other setup guy, so we have a lefty-righty thing going on. Alvarado will be a middle reliever as well as a specialist. Sproat will be in middle relief. Hill will be long relief, emergency starting pitcher. And yeah, so I don't think our bullpen's quite as good as it was last year, but between Carpintero, Takelet, and Juarez, I think we'll be okay. Something we'll have to keep an eye on. And we have a little bit of money to spend this season. Our fan interest dropped during spring training because some of the players that we signed last year, like Dominic Smith and Giancarlo Stanton, both signed elsewhere, and we took huge fan interest bumps for those players leaving in spring training, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Player development, Ryan spiked. He's now 4-star, 4.5-star. We got to find a way to get his bat in the lineup. Collier got a little worse, but still third base is his. Before we get to that, we got to send 5 batters down. We're going to send Raleigh down, which means we're going to have to likely designate. No, we don't. Okay. Lopez has to go down, even though he is ready for the big leagues. He's got to go down because we have Chris Miller, who was a Rule 5 guy, who just absolutely rakes against righties. It may mean that we find a home for Alex Green once his contract starts to get crazy. Fletcher will send down. What does that leave us with? 28. So we're going to send 2 more batters down, huh? Desmond will be one. And I think Eddie Davis is the other. I don't really want to send Eddie Davis down, but all right. So that is our opening day roster. We need to set up our lineups. All right. So against righties, we're going to have... Who's going to lead off for us against right-handed hitters? I think we lead off Meyer, then bat Green in the 2-hole. Our number 3 hitter. This is an interesting... I think Julio Rodriguez is our number 4. No, let's make Rodriguez our 3. And then our 4 can be... He's our starting shortstop. Why is he listed as the DH? Our number 4 hitter will be Ryan Spikes as the designated hitter. Number 5 will be Collier. 6 will be Green. Todd's going to bat 8th. Or he's going to bat 7th. No, Ramos going to bat 7th. And Antonio Gomez will bat 9th. So if we generate a depth chart, what does that do? Okay. Ortega. He got a little bit of time in the outfield. He's not very good defensively, but man, that bat, especially, he's going to start as our designated hitter against, no. I don't know what he's going to do against lefties. Maybe we start Spikes at second and bench Todd against lefty. I don't know. He's got 100 contact. So let's copy and paste. Take the DH out. Move everybody up 1. Generate depth charts. Against lefties, we will paste. Is there anybody that needs to come out against lefties? Collier can hit lefties. Meyer can hit lefties. Probably not going to bat leadoff. I think Green will bat leadoff against lefties. I got to get Ortega in the lineup somehow. I mean, I think maybe we just sacrifice the defense in left and get Ortega out there. Because how do you keep that bat out of your lineup against lefties? We'll give him a shot and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that looks okay. And then against lefties, copy the lineup, paste the lineup. And here, I think I want Spikes playing second and Todd will come out, I guess. We're not going to be as good defensively this year. I don't know why Josh Collins has no positional ratings at catcher, but he can be our backup catcher with that bat. Especially against righties. Against lefties, I never want him playing, but against righties, he's fine. So, all right, let's get up to opening day, and we'll call it an episode. This was a really long episode. I guess that's what happens when you go to the World Series. Everything takes a little bit longer. Big changes. Obviously, moving on from Lou could potentially come back to burn us, but I feel like the changes we made from a starting pitching perspective and the fact that we have so much young talent offensively that it allowed us to make that move comfortably. We may not be as good offensively. I think we're going to be better pitching-wise. At least I hope. But you guys let me know what you think. You let me know what you think. Should I have held on to Lou at the expense of Meyer? Should I have stuck with Lou and Hancock while picking up Munoz, or make the moves that we made, picking up Hamro and bringing back Meyer? So that's kind of the way things worked out. So they want us to make the playoffs. Top 100 prospects. We don't have anybody in the top 10. Where are we from a minor league system? We're 4th. Spikes, Collier, Zarate, Castro, and Bailey. Preseason predictions, they have us going 96 and 66. There's Lou for the Red Sox. That's a bit painful. But if Spikes can come in with a 337, 117 line and make up for it, I'll take it. Pitching-wise, we got Munoz on there at 15 and 11. They think we're going to hit a lot of home runs, and they think we're going to have a good pitching staff. So do I. And I think, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. There's nothing else here that we need to look at. We have some young players that we can trade from if we need to make some moves. We have a nice combination of veterans and young players in our pitching staff. We have a lot of prospects still that are kind of working their way up. Zarate, Nelson Lopez, Eddie Davis could both be trade bait. That's nice to have 2 4-star young players as trade bait. Or, we can always come in here and we can look to move on from Alex Green if we need to down the road. Chris Miller, he's going to hit 50 doubles and hit 320, and he's only 22. So we have I'm a bit concerned about the bullpen, but that's something we'll keep an eye on throughout the course of the season. We have a little bit of money to spend to upgrade there if we need to. As always, guys, I'm going to end it really abruptly. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.